Okay, welcome back. Okay, so you're just going to sit along with me while I do some work as a way of jumping into deep end and seeing a few things a Padlet can do. Um, so I'm going to leave Padlet and head out to GeoGebra, and just do some resource exploring. Coordinate geometry. So I'll go to geometry and coordinates. I find that coordinate geometry can be a little bit weak or a bit hit and miss. So basically, I'm currently actually let me change tack and think about simultaneous equations. And again, I'm looking for systems, and they possibly aren't. Here's one here, solving linear systems. But on that, linear is the end of the line. Okay, and we can see our path back up linear through equations, through algebra, through maths. Okay, so I'm going to create a Padlet called linear, and I'm going to drop some materials into it. So I'll just go back to any particular, any of my Padlets at all that have my just distinct background, and probably nothing else, and I'll just do a quick remake. So, and I'll keep the naming really simple, call that linear, let's clear the description, or I certainly should have just maybe a catchphrase I use, but I don't have, so that'll come later. And these are all the considerations you want to think about earlier if you have a bit of branding going on there. So I'm going to hit submit. Now regarding what's going on here, I'm throwing all of this away, mind you. And if I want to keep one column, I have to keep them all, and that's not going to happen. So I won't copy my posts, which would keep them all, and then other membership things. But I have everything set to public, so these don't really apply. Now the next thing I'm going to want to do is realize that this is not, it does not have a web or a URL with linear as being the handle. So we're going to change that here. A quick way to get into to modify is just to double click the title, and I'm going to type linear here, or copy paste. I'm going to keep that simple, but not too simple, and not cryptic like LNR or something. You're wondering what you used. So I think that's a nice way to go with it. You can decide, so at the moment I'm going to allow posts to get dropped on first, but you will find this quite a dynamic button here that you'll move around. Author's name is just a waste of space, I think you can leave it off. Comments, generally I try to leave them off. Reactions, leave them off. Okay, but you can turn all these sort of things on, which would be general web features. Filter out profanity. Well, that would be if I'm allowing people write on it in the first place, which I'm not. Okay, you can go with a dark or a light scheme, something I never touch. My wallpaper is my brand as such, so I don't touch it, but I did start using a different one between physics and maths. Okay, so basically, long story short, leave everything alone there. Close. Okay. Now then you have more other options, more options here. Would just be the main option would be the main formats. Now I'm a massive fan of, which one am I a fan of? I think it's the grid. Okay, it has these columns, which is I think grid. Right? Various other ones are there and you can explore them, but for me grid just keeps things simple. Stuff doesn't move around. I'm quite happy with grid. Just check that wouldn't do anything. Oh, hold on a second now. Maybe I'm not in, maybe I didn't have grid. Maybe I've ruined things for myself. Change the format. Is it a wall? Like I definitely need at least one column there if I'm to be back to my familiar land, what I'm familiar with. Shelf. Shelf's the one I use, I think. That's interesting actually. I didn't even know what it's called. I just use it. I use it all the time. Now, if I was putting a number thing there, you have to name columns, and generally, I find most of the time you just want a column. You don't care what it's called. So you might just use 2, 3, or anything you want there, and that's enough. That's a 5-minute video to get you started. Or sorry, it isn't. Let's go back in here, and probably the most important link you want to give is the GeoGebra link to everything. Now, of course, you can argue that students should do this themselves, but rather than blink, than put them down a rabbit hole as to what they're looking, the most important thing to share with them is, now I've lost, where was I? Well, it's here because it says linear, which is kind of handy, but even if not, you can just, I often find myself, I just open up any Padlet and type the word linear at the end there. Okay, so the option is to link. You can put titles and that, but I generally find that it generates its own graphics that give you enough information that you don't need to bother with title and writing something. Okay, but maybe in this particular case, I would just say GeoGebra linear home. Okay. Now from that, then I'm just going to move, these will be just general skits. I only want those two, so I'm going to right click and close tabs to the right. And then might get the student started with so first you'd probably want to generate from this. You would know that there's an intercept of -4. There's, see, it's very, very nice. Slope going down 14. That's a nuisance, but then I can come up like this. So I'd want to go down 14 for every 5. You can say, whoa, I got it all the way down to -18, and I want to come out 5, 3, 4, 5. You realize maybe this is absolutely fantastic. Why didn't we have this when we went to school? Slope of -3. Will be, and I'll pop it over here. I think, where do I want it? Well, down 3, 1, 2, 3, bang. And then we go looking for our solution. Very hard to make it out because they meet each other at such, we're searching for vocabulary here. I'm thinking maybe the answer is, and this is eyeballing, -5, 10. Of course it's not we didn't use analytical methods. But it'd be pretty cool if it turned out to be right. Not quite happy with the 10. And we might be able to zoom in. Oh, it is right. Oh, that's nice. I just had to click and it totally correct. Okay, now off topic, but hope you like